So today on the Superset series for AthleticSC.com, we have Coach Paul Harker. He's the Director of Strength and Conditioning at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio. Thanks, Coach, for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Happy to be here.
So today we're going to talk about building mental toughness and your teams. Coach Harker was a strength coach of mine when I was a player. Coach, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. Actually, getting ready to go into my fourth season here at Miami. Previously, I was at Wayne State, where you played, Zach, in Detroit. So Wayne State for a little over 5 years as the head strength coach there. Got to see that program really start from its infancy and grow into a pretty major program within the Division II ranks. Learned a lot about myself, learned a lot about being a head strength coach, a lot about my athletes at that time. Prior to being at Wayne State, I was a graduate assistant at Michigan State under Ken Manning, where I also played football before that. So I had a tremendous experience there. I'd like to think that I model just about everything that I do and continue to do after what I learned as a player under Coach Manning, as well as a graduate assistant. And then, of course, combining that with my own experiences at Wayne State and now here at Miami.
All right. So, the first question, what do you think is the best technique when trying to make your teams become, more mentally tough?
So the best technique is the one that works. I don't think there is one tried and true technique that's going to work for everybody. I think variety is a key. For me, there's so many different ways that you can challenge your athletes. There's so many different ways that you can work on, quote unquote, mental toughness, from specific exercises to specific workouts in their entirety, from the time of day that you work out, from the type of environment that you set up for them to work out in. But it's definitely all about presenting them with a challenge, getting them to understand that not only is it a challenge, but it's an opportunity to overcome that challenge, and getting them in those situations where at first thought they probably don't think they're going to be able to get through it, and they might fail. And you might have specific things that you do with them where they're set up to fail. But then you come back to that specific exercise or workout, a couple days later, a couple weeks later, and they see improvement. Or maybe it's just one specific instance where they think they're going to fail, and you through various techniques, get them to realize that they have a little bit of extra in the tank, and you get them to succeed. And at the end of the day, it's all about giving them more self-confidence and getting them to believe that they can handle whatever's thrown in front of them.
All right. Do you train your male or female teams, different than than each other?
I mean, at the end of the day, I think you do train your female athletes a little differently from your male athletes. Definitely not from the standpoint of working your female athletes with kid gloves or anything. I distinctly remember training my volleyball girls when I was at Wayne State. And they a couple months into it, they were asking, we saw football doing these kind of drills. We saw football doing this kind of workout. Guys were throwing up or guys were on the ground, couldn't move. We want to do that. We want to do that. If anything, I learned that you can train your female with the same kind of intensity and mindset that you train your male athletes. When I say you might train them differently, there's definitely some different considerations that you want to take into account when dealing with female athletes, and probably the most obvious one and the most common one would be their propensity for knee injuries and ACL tears, especially with sports like volleyball or basketball, and just making sure that you're covering all your bases, that there's no holes in the programming when you're dealing with them. But in terms of the expectations that I would have for those female athletes, again, the type of intensity that I want to see out of them in a workout, to me, it's really no different than what I expect out of offensive and defensive linemen in football, or any of you guys on the basketball squad, any of you guys on the baseball team. So from that standpoint, the expectations are the same.
So what are some there's always that time of the one workout of the week, or maybe a couple workouts a week, or maybe you schedule one a month where you think, okay, well, today is the day where we're going to find out what these guys or girls are made of. What are some of the workouts that you've designed that you think have really built the mental capacity of your athletes?
Okay. I like to describe those, and I'm stealing from somebody here, Aaron Hillman at Illinois. When he was at Bowling Green, I used to go down and visit him every once in a while and ask about different training techniques. And he always described, I think, what you're alluding to as those come-to-Jesus moments when you really find out what your kids are made of. So we would definitely schedule those. A very easy one, a favorite of mine, probably because it's one that I experienced a lot as a player, and then especially as a young coach as well, was the leg press. When I was at Michigan State, we had the MedX Avenger leg press, which was adjustable to different angles. And I was lucky enough to inherit 3 of those when I was at Wayne State. And actually, now that I'm at Miami, I brought those with me here in Miami because I like them so much. But that's definitely a tool that's great to get your athletes in and find out what they're made out of, because once they're in there, they're locked and loaded. They can't run away. They can't quit on it. They got no choice but to keep pushing. So a good example would be our freshman football players. The guys that maybe aren't traveling with the varsity, aren't contributing right away, and are still in that developmental phase. We'll bring them in for an extra workout on Friday mornings, and we would definitely incorporate the leg press every so often as a mental toughness piece of the workout. Ahead of time, it's all right. Tomorrow we're hitting leg press, so you know what that means, right? We throw the guys in there, put some weight on there. We're going to get them in a situation where they probably think there's not any chance that they're going to be able to succeed. They went out, they're going to try to quit, they're going to start crying, they're going to start moaning and groaning and screaming. But that's the good thing about the leg press. They got a shoulder restraint on them, they're locked and loaded, feet on the platform, there's nowhere for them to go. And you get the opportunity to coach them through the set. Granted, you're going to help out a little bit, you're going to give them some assistance, but make them believe that they can get through that challenge, that they can get through it. Even if at the end of it they're falling on the ground and throwing up or just shaking and going into the quakes and can't get up. But I think that's definitely, I know you can remember that experience. I can very vividly remember my experience doing that as a player. And you go through something like that, it gives you the utmost confidence that when something else comes along, it can't be any worse than that time we did 100 reps on leg press or 60 reps on leg press, and I couldn't even get up out of the damn thing. So that's definitely an oldie but goodie and a favorite of mine.
Yeah. Definitely remember those.
I thought you would.
Those moments. Do you think that sometimes coaches can make mistakes trying to push things too far and make actually hinder the athlete's ability to mentally move forward?
Yeah, I think you definitely have to take your specific group of athletes that you're working with into consideration. Do you want a mental toughness, ball buster, gut check workout the first day back from, say Christmas break, when there's a good chance that maybe your guys haven't been doing much of anything over the last 4, 5, 6 weeks? Probably not. You're probably asking for some negative consequences. You might be looking for somebody to get injured on that end. There's definitely a time and a place. My main mentor, Ken Manny, I can vividly remember talking to him after one of our seasons at Wayne State that didn't finish up the way that I wanted to. And all I kept telling him was, I can't wait, get this banquet over with. I want to bring those guys in, that Monday, and I just want to get after them. I want to get after their ass. I want to make them realize that this is unacceptable. And he did a great job of making me understand that, everybody needs their rest and recovery. And he wasn't by any means telling me not to be aggressive and not to drop the hammer, but to be a little bit more selective on when that time comes. So make sure that the guys are ready for it. Make sure that they've built up a base, that they're acclimated, they can handle that type of workout. And then when it's time to drop the hammer, he says, you drop the hammer. And he emphasized that to me. It's like, okay, all right, so you got to be smart about it, right? You can't just go buck wild and nuts and developing these insane workouts that nobody's going to be able to recover from, or eventually the chances are you're probably going to get somebody hurt. So there is some planning that goes into place. But I think as long as you have a good feel for the group of athletes you've been working with, what they've been doing leading up to this point in time and what's down the road for them, then it's a great opportunity, again, to see what they're made of, to see how far they've come from a psychological standpoint as well as a physical standpoint.
What advice do you give, to strength coaches, not only, with, mental toughness or training or, just overall picture, because I know that you've been doing this for a while. I'm not talking just young strength coaches. I'm talking, veterans, because there's always things that we can learn from people, right?
Yeah.
what advice do you give to, the strength coaches that are out there?
Number one, realizing that, like you just said, there's always something to be learned. Every time I talk to Coach Manny, he always precedes it with, well, what the hell do I know? I'm probably totally wrong on this, but here's my experience. And this is a guy that's been in it for 40 years plus, is going into his 20th season at Michigan State. So understanding that, as much as you think you know, there's always more to be learned. For me, keeping a focus on being able to see the forest through the trees is a big one for me. I think it's great to be detail oriented and to attack the task at hand, but always being able to take a step back and be able to see the bigger picture. Always be cognizant of what's coming down the road, not just tomorrow, next week, next month, but 6 months from now, a year from now, and taking into account that there are so many different ways to get the same job done. I think it's important that as a strength coach, you have to be able to put your ego aside and your own personal philosophies aside, and that goes with that, learning and continuing to learn that, maybe one type of training or one type of philosophy isn't what you were brought up on, but that doesn't mean that you can't be open-minded and try to incorporate some of those aspects into your own program for the better. I tell our kids that are coming in, our recruits, there isn't one type of training that you will not do here over the course of the year. It's just going to be dictated on where we are in the year and what our other demands on us are. So from an Olympic lifting standpoint, a powerlifting standpoint, a machine-based, high-intensity standpoint, functional training standpoint, strongman training standpoint, we're going to get it all done, because at the end of the day, no matter what you're doing, it's all about the work that you're putting in, and that work's got to be hard work, okay? But that, for me, is what I do in an effort to continue to learn, keeping in contact with your mentors, seeking out new mentors, and always keeping an eye on the big picture, being able to see the forest through the trees.
All right. Well, that's all the questions I have, Coach.
That's it? Nothing else?
That's it. Essentially those. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
I think you're doing a great job. Love the website. I know it's going to be something that continues to grow, that you'll continue to refine it, that you'll work out any kinks or bugs that you might have early on, but I think it's very ambitious of you. I think it's very proactive to try to get this information out there, and I'm very happy to be a part of it.
Well, thanks for being a part of it, Coach. I appreciate it.
No problem. All right, Zach, stay strong.
We'll try. Thanks,
All right,
Coach.
We'll see you.
All right.